God says, the angels are in shock because only you still don't know what happened last night. This is your last chance to know the whole truth. So stay here and listen before 11 p.m. Heaven was not silent last night. Something shifted. Something divine touched the earth while you were still wondering if your prayers had been heard. The angels watched in awe because the answer came. The breakthrough arrived. The chains were broken. The war was won. But you, beloved, still don't know. You woke up this morning and carried the weight as if heaven had not moved. You are walking through the day like nothing happened, but the heavens are trembling because everything changed. The angels were sent out, the Spirit moved, the victory was sealed, and still you are unaware. This is not just another day. You were not left behind. This is not a delay. This is your moment to open your heart and hear the truth before it slips away. Stay here. Do not walk away. You have to hear this before 11 p.m. Comment Amen if your heart already feels something stirring. Right now, whether you feel it or not, whether your eyes can see it or not, something powerful has already happened in the spiritual realm. You were being covered last night while you slept. Not because you earned it, not because you even asked for it, but because God chose to move in your life with mercy, favor, and divine timing. He saw you in your confusion. He watched you cry without words. He heard the silent prayers. He understood the broken pieces you didn't know how to gather. So, he did something about it. Heaven responded. And while you lay in bed thinking nothing was changing, angels were moving, demons were fleeing, doors were opening, chains were falling. But this is the part you missed. You didn't see it happen. And now you're walking through the day, still carrying fear, doubt, shame, and pain like the shift didn't happen. That's why this is your last chance to hear what really took place. There was an instruction released from the throne room of heaven, and it had your name on it. While the world turned and people carried on unaware, God whispered a command that shook the darkness around your life. Angels were deployed on your behalf. Not one, not two, but an army. And they were given the charge to surround you, protect you, clear the path, and make way for what you've been waiting for. They were given permission to shut doors that would destroy you and open ones you've been afraid to believe in. But the angels are shocked this morning because you don't know. You're not walking like someone who just received a miracle. You're not thinking like someone who just received supernatural clearance. You're still worried like heaven hasn't already spoken. Click the like button right now if your heart is starting to feel the weight of this truth settling in. This is more than comfort. This is revelation. The shift that happened last night was not symbolic. It was real. God moved something in the heavenly realms, and now it is being pulled into your reality. But you must align yourself with it. You have to wake up spiritually to understand what this means. The pain you felt yesterday is not the pain you will carry tomorrow. That cycle was broken. That spiritual grip was shattered. That torment was silenced. You may not feel it yet, but the atmosphere around you knows. Even the enemy knows. That is why the attacks tried to get louder. That is why your mind tried to sink deeper. That is why the battle intensified. But what you didn't realize was that last night, the final word was spoken. The silence broke. God said, "Enough. You have cried through seasons where you had no answers. You stayed up many nights, feeling abandoned. You were faithful in a season of dryness. You kept going when everything around you told you to quit. You didn't even know heaven was watching that closely. But it was. And last night, the reward for that quiet endurance was released. The angels delivered what was promised. You have stepped into a moment that cannot be reversed. This is why your spirit is stirring even now. This is why your heart is unsettled in the best way. You're feeling the shift your mind doesn't yet understand. You're sensing what God has already done, even though you don't have all the proof yet. You must stay. You must listen. If you walk away now, you may miss the clarity God is trying to bring. This is not hype. This is not an emotional rush. This is your divine confirmation. God said, enough. God said, now. God said, this is the moment to let go of the lie that nothing is happening. Heaven is not silent. You are not forgotten. The promise was not cancelled. The calling is still alive. The storm did not win. The voice of fear is being silenced. God says, I already moved. I already spoke. I already released what you've been waiting for. You only need to believe again. Comment 1111 if your spirit knows this message is for you. Let this be the moment you stop walking like nothing has changed. Let this be the hour you decide to match your faith with what heaven has already finished. No more begging for what's already been given. No more doubting what God has already spoken. The angels are shocked because the blessing is hovering over your life and you're still asking if God heard you. He did. He heard you the first time. He has always heard you. But the appointed time had to arrive. And it did. Last night was not just another night. It was the moment your name was lifted in the heavens and the answer was released into motion. You will see what your eyes have not seen. You will hold what you thought was gone. You will step into spaces you were once locked out of, not because of your power, but because of His. You didn't miss it. You didn't lose it. You are right on time, and heaven has already moved to prove it. Stay here. There's more you need to hear. The truth is not done unfolding. What if just 7 seconds could flip your entire financial life? A shocking CIA leak has revealed a powerful brain ritual that's helping ordinary people wipe out debt and attract wealth beyond imagination. Backed by 4 cutting-edge neuroscience labs, this at-home breakthrough is turning everyday lives into dreams. Luxury cars, beautiful homes, endless vacations. But this secret may vanish soon. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. So God gently wraps it in peace and waits for you to come into alignment with it. But the angels have seen it. They were there. They were the ones sent to carry out the orders. And now they look at you with holy wonder, because you're still walking in confusion, still unsure if anything happened at all. But beloved, everything changed. Comment 222 if you trust this word is for you today. What the enemy had planned to delay another year was overruled by the authority of the King of Kings last night. What should have taken months was shortened. What was once impossible became inevitable. What was blocked was suddenly cleared. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are right on time for what was released into your life last night. Heaven's schedule is now your schedule. You are no longer a prisoner to the timelines of people, to the opinions of man, or to the fears in your own heart. The divine interruption that came while the world slept has shaken every force that once stood against your becoming. This is why you've been feeling the spiritual tension. This is why, even before you read this, your heart was uneasy. It is not because something is wrong. It's because something is finally right. You are beginning to sense that there is a reality greater than what you can touch. You are beginning to feel the trembling of breakthrough rising through your circumstances. You are beginning to notice that things that once controlled you are losing their power. Heaven is not waiting anymore. God has acted. The angels were dispatched. The darkness was disarmed. And the shift has already taken place. You may be walking through the same house, speaking to the same people, fighting the same battles. But everything around you is starting to respond to what God did last night. Doors that once refused to open are now responding to favor. People who never saw your value are being prompted to bless you. Opportunities you never imagined are aligning themselves to reach you, not because of effort, but because of divine orchestration. This is what it means when God moves. The natural world begins to bow to a supernatural order. Even time itself begins to bend toward the will of the Father. You need to know how personal this is. You were not a number. You were not an afterthought. God did not just release a general word over the world. He called your name in the night. He marked your life. He pointed at your house. He reached into your future and began to rearrange the weight of your pain and position it as purpose. He turned the failures into fuel. He took what broke you and used it as the foundation for your next victory. The angels are not shocked by what happened. They are shocked that you haven't felt the power of it yet. You don't need to beg God for what He already gave. You need to wake up to it, walk in it, declare it. Speak it until your words match heaven's report. This is the day where fear loses its grip. This is the hour where confusion dies. This is the moment where hope lives again. The delay was never denial. It was always preparation. It was always about timing. You were never forgotten. You were simply being made ready for a move this big. If you had received it before, you would not have carried it well. But now, God knows you can handle the weight of this promise. Let your thoughts come into agreement with the truth of what God did. Let your heart rest, knowing that your name has been lifted in the highest court of heaven. The verdict has been rendered in your favor. The battle is no longer yours. You are being rescued from the inside out. This is not just about your surroundings changing. It is about you being made new, you being made strong, you being brought into a version of yourself that you forgot you could become. God is still whispering. You may not hear thunder, but do not mistake silence for inactivity. Heaven is loud with your name right now. The angels are still rejoicing over the release. Your spirit is awakening to the truth. Every part of you that was numb is coming alive again. Every dream you buried is being resurrected. Every prayer you whispered with a trembling voice is being answered with a loud yes. Comment 333 to declare your faith is alive again. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the line you draw in the sand where you say, I will no longer live like someone waiting for a miracle when the miracle has already begun. You do not need another sign. This is the confirmation. This is the hour you've been waiting for. Let the tears you cried in the dark now become the water that nourishes your harvest. Let your voice rise with boldness. Speak what you've been afraid to believe. Declare what you've been too weary to say. You have survived long enough. It's time to live. You are not weak. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are the one the angels were sent for. You are the one God whispered about in the quiet of the night. You are the one covered in grace when others walked away. You are the one He chose to trust with this testimony. So walk like the chosen. Stand like the favored. Breathe like the protected. Heaven is not surprised. But you needed to know. You needed to hear this before 11 p.m. because the next thing coming to you requires your yes. It requires your agreement. It requires you to believe, not just in what God can do, but in what He already did. What was behind you no longer defines you, and what is ahead has already been cleared. The enemy tried to steal your hope while you slept, but God stepped in with a decree that silenced every voice of fear and released peace over your life like a blanket from heaven. Comment 555. If you can feel something shifting as you read this, could this hidden CIA brain ritual be the real reason people are suddenly rich? A secret CIA discovery has just leaked, revealing a brain hack that's pulling wealth into people's lives effortlessly. It only takes 7 seconds. It's done at home, and it's backed by 4 neuroscience labs. Debt is vanishing, luxury is becoming normal, If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. You have been standing in the middle of storms, wondering when the winds would stop and the skies would clear. But what you didn't see is that God was using the storm to prepare the atmosphere for your miracle. The thunder was not a threat, it was a sound of awakening. The rain was not punishment, it was heaven watering the seeds of your faith. And now, after all the waiting, after all the testing, after all the long nights of holding on with nothing left in your hands, the angels were released to bring you what has been held back for too long. You may not understand all the details yet, but the proof is going to be undeniable. People around you won't even believe how fast things begin to shift. Doors that were locked tight will swing open without warning. Conversations you thought ended forever will begin again with new clarity. What you lost, what was taken, what broke you, will suddenly return, not always in the same form, but with greater purpose, deeper peace, and divine restoration. You won't have to strive or chase it. It will come because God has already spoken. He did not need your permission to bless you. He only needed your heart to stay open long enough to receive. And you did that. Even in the struggle, even in your weakest hour, you may have doubted, but you never disconnected. You may have cried, but you never cursed God. You may have stumbled, but you never surrendered to the darkness. That quiet strength was not ignored. God saw it. The angels recorded it, and last night, heaven answered it. When God moves in secret, it is because the enemy cannot stop what he cannot see. The enemy tried to distract you with noise, with fear, with tension in your relationships, with unexpected problems that shook your balance. But while your focus was on surviving, God was writing the next part of your story with grace. He removed what needed to go. He protected what had to stay, and he began to build something holy inside of you. Now, you're waking up in the middle of a miracle and don't even realize the shift already took place. Your mind may still be catching up to what your spirit already knows. That's okay. The important thing is that you don't give up now. The lie the enemy wants you to believe is that nothing happened, that it was just another night. But no, it wasn't. The realm of the spirit was alive with motion. The angels descended. The chains that tormented your family for years were broken. The patterns that followed you from childhood were stopped. The curses that tried to replay through your decisions were cancelled. The pain that shaped your identity was lifted. God didn't wait for you to be perfect. He moved because he loves you. He moved because he promised to. He moved because your story isn't over. And what was established last night will now begin to manifest, piece by piece, moment by moment, in ways so personal you'll know it could only be him. You might still feel tired. That's normal after a spiritual release. When heaven touches earth, your soul feels it before your body does. Don't misread your weariness as defeat. It's transition. Your spirit is adjusting to a new atmosphere. You are not under the same weight anymore. The heaviness is not yours to carry. The pressure has lifted. Even if your surroundings haven't caught up yet, the change has already begun. Comment 1212 if you are ready to walk in this new beginning without fear. God is rebuilding the pieces you thought were ruined. He is healing the wounds you buried deep. He is restoring the confidence you lost somewhere in the middle of your battle, and he is doing it without making a show of it. This is personal. This is sacred. This is between you and him. He does not need the world's approval to bless you. He only needs your heart to remain soft, your spirit to remain expectant, your soul to stay open to his voice. You have been surrounded by invisible protection for longer than you knew. There were attacks you never saw because the angels intercepted them. There were plans against you that failed before they reached your doorstep. You were kept safe, not because of luck, but because of covenant. God has never forgotten His word over your life, and last night He reaffirmed it. He reminded every force of darkness that you are marked, chosen, set apart. This is why the angels are in awe, not because of what God did, but because of how loved you are and how unaware you still are of it. You walk gently, never knowing how heavily favored you are. You keep trying to earn what's already yours. You keep waiting for permission to believe in yourself again. But God already gave you the green light. He already called you worthy. He already said you're enough. He already stamped your name with favor. It's time to catch up with what He already knows about you. Every time you thought it was over, God was just beginning. Every time you thought it was finished, He was preparing the next chapter. Every delay was divine. Every closed door was mercy. Every detour was a hidden blessing. And now, the path has cleared. The road has been made straight. The angels are not waiting anymore. They've done their part. It's your turn to do yours. Believe, speak, walk forward like someone who has already received. Worship like the battle is over. Pray like the answer is here. Rejoice like your soul is free. Because it is. Because it always was. You just didn't see it. But now you do. Comment 777 if you believe this is the moment everything begins to turn around for you. Why is this 7-second brain ritual suddenly going viral? Leaked. CIA files have exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the floodgates to wealth. Verified by 4 top labs, this ritual is turning financial pain into prosperity fast. From massive bills to luxury trips, it's changing lives. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. There is a shift you must feel. Even before you see it, heaven did not whisper. Last night, it declared. The spiritual courtroom came to a decision on your behalf, and the verdict was favor, mercy, and restoration. Every accusation against you, every lie spoken about you in the dark, every voice that tried to silence your destiny was overruled by God's word. The angels carried out that order immediately. They didn't wait until morning. They didn't delay for confirmation. They moved at His voice. And now, the divine process that began while you slept is unfolding in ways you cannot yet measure, but soon you will see it with clarity. Your name was spoken in heaven, not as a burden, not as a mistake, not as someone barely holding on. Your name was spoken with joy, with purpose, with divine intention. God sees you not as you were, but as you are becoming. And last night, heaven made sure nothing would stand in the way of that becoming anymore. You were elevated in the spirit, positioned in the unseen, given access to places that were once locked by pain, fear, and generational weight. The moment you feel peace rising in you for no reason, understand that it is the result of that release. You're not dreaming it. You're not imagining it. This is not wishful thinking. This is not false hope. This is what it feels like when God removes the invisible weight and fills the space with His presence. Your spirit is lighter, even if your mind doesn't know why yet. Your emotions are trying to catch up to the reality that you are no longer in the same place. It may look the same for now, but you are different. You have been shifted. You have been called out of the storm and into a place of stillness, of healing, of promise. This is why you've been feeling waves of emotion today. The tears you've cried without explanation, the quiet moments that made your heart tremble, the sudden memories that surfaced out of nowhere, it's all part of the release. God is making room for what He has planned next. He is clearing the leftover fear, removing the last traces of doubt, and lifting the residue of disappointment that has clouded your vision for too long. The pain did not win. The delay did not cancel the promise. And now, the angels are preparing the way for you to receive what is already yours. Heaven's movement never returns empty. When God speaks, nothing remains the same. You don't have to try to understand it all. You only need to accept that something good is coming toward you with urgency, and it's coming because God said so. Not because you prayed the perfect prayer. Not because you earned it, but because His love for you runs deeper than your mistakes, deeper than your fear, deeper than your confusion. He made up His mind to bless you before you ever knew you needed it. You have been chosen for this time, for this moment, for this specific revelation. The reason the pressure was so intense lately is because the release was so near. The reason you almost gave up is because the shift was right at the edge. And now, here you are, hearing what the angels already know, being told what was already done. This is not a warning, it's a reminder. This is not a threat, it's an invitation. To step into alignment, to believe again. To walk as if God's word has the final say, because it always has and always will. Comment 999 if you're ready to move forward with peace, with faith, and with no fear. You are not stuck anymore. You are not under the old burden anymore. You don't need to explain yourself to people who never saw what you carried. You don't owe the past any more of your attention. What God did last night wasn't a temporary moment of mercy. It was a permanent shift in how heaven sees your future. It was a turning of the page, a divine reset, a release of everything you thought you lost. There is restoration coming that will reach places you forgot even needed healing. There is provision already being sent that answers problems you haven't spoken about. There are people being prepared to meet you, bless you, help you, and walk with you who don't even know your name yet, but God has already introduced you in the Spirit. The alignment has already begun. You will begin to notice signs that cannot be ignored. Repeated confirmations, sudden peace, unusual favor. These are not random. These are fingerprints of heaven on your timeline. You are not behind. You're actually right on time for what God is about to do next. You didn't miss your season. You didn't lose your chance. You've been kept, protected, covered, and carried until the right moment. And now, that moment is here. You're walking into places where your name has already been spoken with honor. You're stepping into plans that have been waiting for your arrival. You will soon realize that what looked like delay was divine preservation. God was not punishing you, He was positioning you. The angels are still watching, still protecting, still going before you. They are clearing paths, scattering darkness, and holding you up when you feel weak. You are not walking alone. You never were. And now, even more than before, you are surrounded by favor. You are wrapped in grace. You are standing on ground that has been prepared by the hand of God Himself. All you need to do is believe that it's real, that it's happening, that the shift is yours and you are not going back. What happened last night wasn't just an event. It was the beginning of a divine unfolding, a process that's now moving across your timeline, opening things in silence, shifting outcomes in stillness, and rearranging what once felt permanent. Comment 1010 if you believe God is still working even when you can't see it. Is it time to unlock the same CIA secret brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak has revealed a powerful 7-second technique developed under CIA-funded research and backed by neuroscience. It's helping people magnetize wealth like never before. From debt to luxury faster than anyone believed. But this miracle won't stay public for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. Everything may look the same at a glance, but listen closely, there is a stillness in the spirit that wasn't there before. That's the peace of God settling into places where chaos used to rule. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's powerful, it's deep, it's steady. The kind of peace that pushes out anxiety, quiets the inner critic, and lets your soul breathe again. You've been waiting for a sign, looking for something visible, but the evidence of what happened is already rising inside of you. Last night, heaven delivered what years of striving couldn't earn. God didn't need time to get things in order, he only needed the appointed moment, and that moment came. The shift was not a promise of someday, it was the release of now. Your spirit knows it, even if your circumstances haven't caught up yet. You're not moving through this world the same way anymore. You're not waking up into just another day, you're waking up into favor, into alignment, into answered prayers, into miracles that are beginning quietly and will soon be impossible to miss. There are things being removed from your life, not as a punishment, but as a preparation. What God did last night initiated a cleansing in your atmosphere. Some connections will fade, some old patterns will feel uncomfortable, some opportunities will slip away. But this is not loss. This is God making room. He is pruning so you can grow. He is stripping away what you once clung to so he can give you something stronger, something pure, something that will not break when the next wind comes. You prayed for breakthrough. This is how it starts. You may not see the full picture yet, but pay attention to the subtle changes, the pressure lifting, the heaviness loosening, the way certain situations just stop affecting you like they used to. That's the shift working its way through your emotions, your thoughts, your habits. You are being made new in layers. This is transformation from the inside out. No one else may notice yet, but you feel it. A soft whisper reminding you that things are not the same, that God really did move, that what you thought was stuck is already shifting. Heaven never starts something without finishing it. If the angels were sent last night, then they are still moving on your behalf. They are still executing the word that was spoken over you. That word will not return void. It will complete what it started. Every detail, every step, every part of the process has been written already. All you need to do is walk forward in trust. Stop looking back for signs of what is already dead. The grave behind you holds no answers. The light is in front of you, and your name is written in the promises ahead. Comment 1515 if you're ready to stop looking back and start walking in what's new. There are blessings that have already been dispatched to find you. You will not need to chase them down. They are coming because heaven said yes. There are situations that will suddenly resolve, not because of your effort, but because of divine intervention. There are people being stirred even now to remember your name, to bless you, to speak on your behalf in rooms you've never entered. This is the quiet movement of God. It doesn't announce itself with noise. It flows like a river, strong, steady, unstoppable. You've been carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You kept trying to fix what only God could restore. But last night, God took those burdens from your hands without asking. He reached into your life and pulled the weight off your shoulders while you slept. That's why you've been feeling lighter, even if your mind tries to pull you back into fear. Don't go back. Don't pick up what God has already removed. Let Him carry it. Let Him be your strength. Let Him finish what He started. Every time you feel that strange peace settle in, that is not your imagination. That's the presence of God resting on you. That's the result of what happened last night when heaven made its decision. That's your confirmation. Not a sign in the sky, not thunder from above, just peace. Gentle, holy, unshakable. The kind that guards your heart even when nothing makes sense. The kind that reassures you even when the world says you're behind, but you're not behind. You're in perfect rhythm with what God ordained. This peace is not temporary. It's not a moment of relief. It's the beginning of a new atmosphere around your life. The spiritual climate has changed. The war that used to rage silently in the background has gone quiet. The fear that used to linger in the night has lost its grip. The pressure that used to weigh down your chest in the morning has lifted. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because the Spirit of God has taken the lead. You are no longer walking in your own strength. You are being led, covered, sustained. Comment 1717 if you feel the peace of God settling over your life right now. Don't let this moment pass you by. Don't shrug it off and return to old thinking. Heaven has moved, and your response now matters more than ever. Speak life, speak hope, speak as someone who knows that something sacred has begun. Let your words reflect your new reality. Let your choices echo the trust you're building. You don't have to figure everything out. You just have to walk with the one who already did. He knows the way. He's already prepared the place. The door is open. All you need to do is walk through it. And as you walk, know this: what happened last night was not an end. It was a beginning. You haven't missed anything. You haven't fallen behind. You haven't disqualified yourself. You are not too broken, too late, or too far gone. You are right on time for redemption. You may still be trying to make sense of what's happening, still trying to understand why your heart feels lighter, why your mind is quieter, why your soul feels like something has been lifted. That's because you've stepped into a moment that eternity had been waiting for. Comment Amen if you believe God's mercy has met you exactly where you are. Do you know why? Everyone's whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual. A brainwave ritual leaked from the CIA is changing lives across the globe. Proven by neuroscience, this 7-second method helps regular people attract money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. Last night was not just about a breakthrough, it was about re-establishing your identity. God didn't just break chains, He reminded all of heaven and hell who you really are. You're not the sum of your past, you're not the mistakes you made, you're not the one who always gets left behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not ordinary. You are chosen. You are covered. You are known deeply and fully by the one who never changes. And last night, that truth was carved into your life with a heavenly decree that cannot be undone. There are seasons in life where we feel like we're waiting endlessly for God to move. But then there are moments where He moves without warning, in silence, without announcement, and everything changes in a breath. That's what happened while you slept. The silence wasn't absence, it was strategy. The quiet was not God ignoring you, it was God preparing the ground for something so personal, so holy, that it couldn't be shouted. It had to be whispered. It had to be carried by angels. It had to be wrapped in glory and released in a way that only your spirit could sense before your eyes could ever see. This is why your heart keeps coming back to this word. Why you're still reading. Why you haven't been able to pull away. It's because your spirit knows the truth, even when your thoughts try to argue with it. You feel the shift. You feel the presence. You feel the awakening. And even if you don't have the language for it yet, your soul does. This is heaven's way of confirming that last night was not just a dream, not just another turning of the clock, it was your divine appointment. And you were right on time. What God did cannot be undone by fear. It cannot be reversed by doubt. It cannot be delayed by people. When God speaks, His word carries authority over every realm, seen and unseen. That's why the angels responded instantly. That's why the atmosphere around your life is different today, because heaven didn't just release favor, it released instructions. Those instructions were sent to open doors, to close traps, to reroute you away from danger, to bring things to you that you weren't even thinking about. Some of you are going to see sudden favor, unexpected opportunities, conversations that feel too perfectly timed to be coincidence. That's not luck. That's not just good timing. That's heaven's alignment catching up with your life. What's coming is not random. It's attached to what was declared over you in the secret hour. It's the fruit of a word that was sent forth with your name on it, and the angels are making sure it reaches you on time. Comment 1111 if you believe divine alignment is already at work in your life. God is always intentional, but there are rare moments when his intentions rush into your reality all at once. That's what makes this season sacred. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to beg. You don't need to chase. You only need to align. Align your words with what God says. Align your posture with peace, not panic. Align your vision with faith, not fear. Because what's coming is drawn to the sound of belief. What's about to unfold is not waiting on a sign, it's waiting on your yes. Do not be surprised if old patterns suddenly start falling away. Habits you've tried to break for years will start losing their grip. Relationships that drained your spirit may fade without conflict. That's not rejection, it's redirection. That's not punishment, it's protection. When God sets you apart, he often does it by removing what cannot go with you. And while it may feel unfamiliar at first, what follows is always better, always fuller, always richer with purpose and peace. You are stepping into a version of yourself that fear tried to kill, but it failed. Shame tried to hold you hostage, but grace won the battle. Your identity is no longer in question. The enemy can't lie to you the same way anymore because the truth has taken root. What was spoken in heaven now lives in you. You're not just hearing about it, you're becoming it. And the more you surrender to that truth, the faster you'll see it manifest in your reality. This is not hype. This is not emotion. This is the voice of heaven reminding you that last night marked the end of delay, the end of the wait, the end of hoping without seeing. You have crossed over into the fulfillment season. It may not all appear at once, but it will come in waves, gentle, persistent, steady. Every time you think the blessing has reached its peak, another wave will come. Every time you think the peace can't go deeper, it will. Because God is not a God of half-finished things. He completes what he begins. And he began something last night that will carry you for years. Something that your children will benefit from. Something that breaks cycles you've fought for generations. Something that shifts not just what's around you, but what's within you. This is bigger than you. And yet, God made it personal. He chose your life, your name, your heart, your tears, your prayers as the place to begin the next chapter. Comment 222. If you feel this in your spirit right now, you are not walking through today by chance. You are not scrolling here randomly. You are in the middle of the evidence. This is the beginning of the revealing. This is the season where the fruit starts to grow from seeds you forgot you planted. This is the season where your prayers catch up with your reality. This is the season where your soul breathes again and your spirit rises strong. You have entered into a new space in the spirit, and now everything that touches your life must align with what heaven has decided. The confusion, the tension, the waiting, the heaviness, it no longer has authority over your next steps. It may try to follow you, but it cannot stay because the atmosphere around you has shifted under God's command. Comment 333. If you can feel that the old weight no longer belongs to you, Why is the government hiding this 7-second brain ritual from the public? A leaked CIA document just exposed a brain technique so powerful it's helping people cancel debt and call in wealth within days. Validated by 4 top neuroscience labs, this method is changing everything. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. God does not move in vain. He does not release his angels to act without purpose. When heaven moved on your behalf last night, it was with full intention to deliver something eternal, something that cannot be undone by fear or ruined by circumstances. This is not the beginning of another battle. This is the beginning of your unveiling. You are stepping into the life that had been prepared all along, the one you almost forgot belonged to you. But now, the covering is lifting. The light is shining. What was hidden is being revealed not just around you, but within you. There's a clarity coming into your life. It will be subtle at first, like waking up before the sun has fully risen, but soon it will be impossible to miss. You will start to know where to go, what to say yes to, what to walk away from, and what no longer fits. It won't come from logic or analysis. It will rise from peace, from that steady knowing inside of you that says, "This is right." That's not your imagination. That's the Holy Spirit confirming the instructions heaven wrote over your life in the silence of last night. You are not stepping forward blindly. You are being led, guided by light that cannot be seen by the world, but is clear to your spirit. The darkness that clouded your path is lifting. The thoughts that kept cycling through your mind, making you doubt everything, are being silenced. You're not losing your mind, you're regaining your vision. You are seeing from a place of wholeness now, not survival. From truth, not trauma. From promise, not panic. What God spoke last night was not a repeat of old promises, it was a fulfillment word. It was the kind of word that comes after you've been faithful in silence, after you've stood your ground when no one applauded, after you've cried the kind of prayers that don't have words. It was a reward for enduring with a heart that stayed open, for not turning away even when you couldn't understand the why. And because of that, you are now in the receiving season. Not just of things, but of clarity, strength, confidence, and holy momentum. Comment 1212 if you believe the season of confusion is ending in your life. It is not by chance that you have survived what tried to break you. You didn't get here by your own strength. You were carried, held by grace when you couldn't hold yourself. There were nights you should have given up, mornings you shouldn't have gotten out of bed, but you did. You stood up with trembling hands. You walked forward through the fog. And now, heaven has answered in a way that you never expected but always hoped for. Do not expect things to stay the same. Do not settle back into old patterns. What was normal before no longer applies. You are in a new dimension of grace. That means new doors will appear where you once saw only walls. That means people you once leaned on may not walk this next part with you, and that's okay. That means decisions that used to confuse you will now come easily, because the weight of uncertainty has been lifted. You will know peace, not as a feeling, but as a way of living. There is still healing happening inside you. That's part of what God did last night. Some wounds go so deep that they don't bleed. They just ache. You've been carrying some of those aches for years, smiling through them, working around them, pretending they weren't there because you didn't know if they could ever be healed. But heaven didn't forget. God touched those places last night, quietly, gently. He started healing what no one else could see. It's why your emotions may have felt out of place today. You may have felt moments of sadness without reason, moments of peace that didn't make sense. That's the healing rising to the surface. Let it. Don't rush it. Don't ignore it. Let the process complete what was started. Because this healing is not just for you. It's for every place you touch, every person you speak to, every life you impact without knowing. The healing God gives you now becomes the oil you carry to others. This is why the enemy fought you so hard. Not because of what you were doing, but because of who you were becoming. He tried to keep you in a version of yourself that lived in fear, that settled for less, that believed you weren't worthy. But all that broke last night. The lie lost its power, the chains fell, the ceiling shattered, and now the sky is open over you. Heaven is closer than you think. You are walking in favor, and nothing can stop what has already been released. Comment 555 if you know the enemy lost his grip on your life. Do not shrink to fit where you no longer belong. God has elevated you in the spirit, and your life is about to rise to match what was declared over you. The blessings coming won't make sense to everyone. The favor will feel unfair to those who don't know your story. But don't apologize. Don't explain. Just walk forward in humility, knowing it was grace that brought you here, and it is grace that will carry you the rest of the way. You are not being rebuilt just for survival. You are being rebuilt for impact, for legacy, for something greater than the pain that tried to define you. What God did in the quiet of last night will echo through every part of your future. You will see the fruit. You will touch the evidence. You will testify with boldness. Because this was not just a shift, it was a divine release of purpose. What happened last night was not a moment to just reflect on. It was a spiritual breakthrough that will follow you into every part of your life. This is not just the start of a new chapter, it's the beginning of a new book, written by the hand of God Himself, with your name on every page. Comment, Amen. If you believe God has already begun writing something new in your life. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account overnight? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that's flipping lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth attraction brainwaves. People are now stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles, but this breakthrough won't stay online for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. You've carried the weight of unanswered prayers and quiet disappointments for far too long. There were seasons where it felt like everything was still, like heaven had paused and forgotten your voice. You kept hoping something would change. You kept asking, even when your prayers were soaked in tears instead of words. But what you didn't know was that every prayer, every whisper, every aching moment was being collected by God. He did not overlook one moment of your pain, and last night He answered, fully, finally, completely. But answers from God don't always look like loud miracles in the moment. Sometimes they arrive like a calm that fills the room without warning. Sometimes they show up in the way your chest doesn't feel heavy when you wake up, or in the sudden realization that you're not afraid anymore. These are not small things. These are holy things. This is the fruit of what was released while the world was quiet and your soul was still. And it is just the beginning. There is a reason you have felt drawn to stay here, to keep listening. It's because your spirit knows this is not just encouragement, it's revelation, a holy unveiling, the kind that only comes when God Himself decides it's time to make you see what He's always seen in you. He's not revealing your future to impress you. He's revealing it to remind you that you are not forgotten, that your life still holds purpose, that His promises were never voided. You are being called out of survival mode. You are being pulled out of the mindset that taught you to expect the worst. You're being lifted above the fog that convinced you that your best days were behind you. None of that was true. You are not too late. You are not broken beyond repair. You have not missed your moment. Last night, heaven reactivated everything that was placed inside of you before you were even born. And now, it's time to walk as someone who carries that divine truth in every step. Comment 1111 if you are ready to walk forward like someone who knows they are chosen. God didn't just break something off of you last night. He poured something into you. New strength, new direction, new clarity, and a deeper awareness of His voice. You are going to notice that in the days ahead, your spirit will begin to respond to His leading without resistance. The fear that once made you freeze will be replaced by peace. The hesitation that held you back will fall away like dead leaves in the wind. You will begin to recognize divine instruction faster, and your obedience will no longer feel like effort, it will feel like alignment. You were not created to live in cycles of frustration, fear, or delay. That's why what God did last night was so personal. He didn't just deal with what was blocking your blessing, He dealt with what was keeping you from believing it could ever come. The healing was deeper than you expected. He reached into the hidden places, into the old memories, into the silent grief. And He began rewriting the story, not by erasing the past, but by redeeming it. What once felt like failure will now carry the evidence of God's fingerprints. You will soon begin to notice that things no longer disturb your peace the way they used to. The same triggers will lose their power. The same words that used to break you will no longer sting. This is not because you've become numb, it's because you've become healed. You are not just surviving with open wounds anymore. You are walking forward with scars that tell a story of grace, scars that remind you of how far you've come, scars that heaven sees as trophies of faith. Comment 999 if you believe your healing is already unfolding in silence. Let this be the season where you give yourself permission to believe in joy again. You've spent so long preparing for disappointment that you forgot how to expect blessing. But the atmosphere around your life has changed. Joy is now being planted where sorrow once lived. Laughter is returning to the parts of your life that were once ruled by silence. And hope is no longer a risky emotion, it's a promise backed by heaven's word. There's a new confidence forming in your spirit. It won't be loud or proud. It will be quiet and steady, rooted in the awareness that God has already gone ahead of you. You won't have to convince people of your worth. You won't have to explain your peace. You will simply carry it, and the peace itself will do the explaining. The light in your eyes will say what words never could. The stillness in your voice will silence storms around you. That's what happens when you've been touched by God in a moment no one else witnessed. Your life is about to become the evidence of what was released last night. And not just for you, but for others too. People will look at you and feel hope without even knowing why. They'll be drawn to your strength, not knowing it came from holy surrender. They'll be moved by your calm, not realizing it came from weeping at the feet of God. You won't need to tell the whole story, your presence will carry the testimony. This is the moment that changes everything. Not because of what you feel, but because of what God did. Heaven has already moved. The shift has already begun. The promises are already in motion. All that's left now is for you to continue walking in it, to keep your heart open, to let the Spirit finish what was started. Because this isn't over. The shift has been made. The past no longer owns the weight it used to carry. The spiritual chains that kept you anchored in pain have been broken, and the wind of God is now pushing you into new territory gently, but without pause. Comment, Amen, if you know something unseen is starting to move in your favor. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest ticket to luxury? Recently leaked research shows a simple brain ritual that's allowing people to attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, this technique is transforming debt into abundance instantly. Homes, cars, and vacations are just the beginning. If you're seeing this now, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. This isn't just about answered prayer, it's about divine recovery. There are things you lost in battle, pieces of peace, confidence, purpose, even identity. Some of those losses were loud and obvious. Others were quiet, invisible to others, yet left you hollow inside. You've kept moving, kept showing up, kept believing, even if only with a whisper. But God saw every piece. He collected every fragment. And last night, He released what had been held back by pain and delay. What was stolen is being returned. What was damaged is being rebuilt. What was dormant is being revived. Your soul is entering into a season of return. This is why your heart feels unfamiliar peace today. Why your chest is not as tight. Why your steps feel lighter, even if your mind hasn't understood the reason yet. Heaven has released you from the grip of what you didn't even know was still holding you. Old weights, unseen burdens, lingering regrets, even generational curses, patterns that played out in your family without explanation were shattered in silence. What your ancestors cried over, you will walk free from. What they could not escape, you will overcome. Not because you tried harder, but because God chose to move at the right time. That time was last night, when no one was watching, when you had no strength to ask, when you didn't even know how desperately you needed divine intervention. That's the mercy of God. He doesn't wait until you're strong enough. He moves when your heart is open, even if your body is weak. And He moved for you. The angels were shocked that you didn't know, because in their world what happened was explosive, powerful, final. And now, that explosion of mercy is echoing through your days, shifting things that you thought were settled in failure. Comment 777 if you feel the wind of God pulling you towards something greater. You are no longer walking through life with your head down, your soul weary, your voice silenced. Heaven has repositioned you. That means the way people perceive you will begin to change. Not because you're trying harder to be seen, but because the presence on your life will begin to speak louder than any words ever could. People will notice the glow, the peace, the stillness, the confidence, and they won't be able to explain it. But you will know. You'll know it was the touch of heaven. You'll know it happened the moment God whispered your name in the night and released the word that rewrote your future. This is not the time to shrink. Not the time to second-guess the call on your life. Not the time to question whether you deserve what's coming. God is not blessing you because you earned it. He is blessing you because He loves you. He is restoring you because you're His. He is promoting you because you were faithful when no one saw. You've lived through the pressure, the pain, the private wrestlings, and you never turned away. Even when your hands were trembling, you kept reaching. Even when your voice was barely a whisper, you kept praying. That's why this moment is yours. The next few days are going to bring signs. They may not all be loud. Some may come as peace that lingers longer than usual. Others may come as clarity in areas you were confused for years. Some will come through people, unexpected conversations, divine encounters, invitations that you didn't chase but were sent to find you. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. Let your heart remain open. Let your discernment stay sharp. God will not waste a moment of what He has already prepared for you. Comment 1010 if you're ready for divine encounters to confirm what your spirit already knows. Let go of the fear that says, "What if it all falls apart again?" It won't. Because this time, it's not being built on your own strength. It's being built on a word from God. And what He builds, no storm can tear down. What He speaks, no enemy can silence. What he anoints, no darkness can curse. Your future is not fragile. It is sealed. It is holy. It is rising. Your story is not behind you. It's unfolding right now. Every tear you cried in silence has become the water for your next season. Every no you endured, every door that was slammed, every delay you suffered was part of the soil where this breakthrough would grow. And now, it's rising. Slowly, surely, steadily. Don't be surprised if you begin to weep in random moments. That's the healing rising from deep places. That's the Spirit reminding you that you've been seen, known, loved, and now restored. You will not go back. That cycle is over. That chain is broken. That voice that used to whisper shame is silenced. You are not bound by what once held you. The past no longer defines you. You have been touched by something eternal, and that touch has changed everything. Heaven is not done speaking. This revelation is still flowing. There is still more you need to hear. Stay close. The next word will show you how God is not only restoring what was lost, but redeeming the very pain that broke you.